Well friends, we have learned how to design wireframes and design systems. Now we want to move on to prototyping, which means we are going to design this wireframe based on the color scheme we have. So let's get started, guys. In the first step, we count the opportunity and start quickly. Okay, I am creating a new frame and naming it prototype homepage. Now here, guys, I am setting it again to 1520, for example, and defining its height as 3000. Let's start. Well, guys, we had tracked our header and footer here, and we are placing them here again. Now let's move on to our color scheme. For now, we will keep our logo black. For our fonts, we have an active font. I say when it becomes active, I want to display my blue color. I can make its color brighter, saying let's make it like this. Now let's move on to our call to action. I want to choose our call to action. Now I can either set my yellow color or my blue color. I prefer to set my blue color. The border I gave it, I will keep it transparent. This becomes the call to action that I have. Again, I will set its color to the blue that I want. If we want to take a view, guys, we will take it again from this section. So far, we have built our header. Let's move on to the next step, guys. This will be the first slide we are going to have. We have chosen our font and selected our text. I want to place an axis now. Now, what size did we set this to? 1662 by 768. We bring it over here again, and all its elements come along. Now, because I want to place a slide behind this, let's delete this. I will delete it again, because it wasn't transferred correctly. Let's create this from scratch. I come here now and turn on my frame again. This means I set the layout completely, with a few columns, and it creates 12 columns, 14 columns in total. We bring this up to here. Let's go and see why our item was there. Let's make this 786, exactly the size of this section. Now guys, we need to choose an image for the slide, or sometimes I want to use my own collections image. Sometimes I want to have a graphic designer create it, and sometimes I want to search for an image myself. Guys, we have a few sites for images. One of them is FreePic that we can use. It provides me with vector images. For example, I can search for digital marketing. Now, it gives me both vector images, meaning it provides AI files, and it can also give me image files. Some of them are free, guys, except for those marked with a symbol, which means the premium version needs to be purchased. Now, either it sends it to FreePic itself or uploads it to Shutterstock. But it has a lot of free images. The second site we use for images is Unsplash, which provides us with images, but it doesn't have vectors or AI files for us to get open layer files. However, it has very good images that we can use based on our needs. Also, there's the Yandex search engine itself. It also includes Grin. In the field of images, we think it's very good, and we can select the images we have in mind from the Yandex image section. Now, I have previously used it I selected this image myself, and I want to use the same image for the first slide of our presentation. Guys, to add an image, I have several solutions. I can click on this existing file section, say here that I want to add an image. And from here it tells me, okay, now choose your image. This is the first method I use. Let's go back and come to the file I want. Here, I want to select this image. Its format is PNG, and I want to place it. This image appears for me, guys. One method is this. The next method I can use is that I can bring my image and drag and drop it into the design itself. In both cases, it's possible for me, meaning I can drag this image, bring it, and drop it into the design. So I can either select the image from the file section or drag and drop it here. Now, guys, I need to select another layer of this layer, and I want to place a blue overlay on it that reaches the entire design so that I can write text on it. Now, among the blue colors we had chosen, it was blue. I also chose black, which was the fourth color, and I can use it. I want to put an overlay on it. I will place these overlays in blue. Now guys, in that lower layer section where I placed most of it, it gives me some other settings that I can adjust, like the transparency of certain elements or as needed. Now, my font is also Iran Sans, so I want to write my text. I want to write Digital Marketing Agency. Okay, what is my H1 font? I want to set my H1 to 50 pixels. This will be my font, and I know how to set it. Or black, I want to set it here. Now, what is the next sentence I have? We have chosen the path for the growth of your business. I also want to place it with a second tag. I'll put it here and change its color to white again. It's not selected, it turns white again. Now, what do I want to place? I can choose to place an A, a P, or any of these options. Now, I'll place an A to see what happens. What was my A in the context? My A was 39 and P was 25. Now we haven't defined the rest of the tags. Let's apply this to the other tags as well. I'll set it to 35 and see that it becomes very large, so I'll set everything to 25. Now I should mention that I can also set the font to light or medium. I'll set it to regular. I'll also bring this up as the second text. I also want to place this in a more organized manner. So, guys, I need to add a call to action. I'll choose a call to action, and I can take a copy of the one I placed above so I don't have to create it again. I'll bring it here, but I can't set its color to blue anymore. I could set it to black, which I don't recommend, or I could use a different color. Secondly, I can choose the color of your main element, which was yellow, and use it as the call to action that I have. Now, I can select these stars together, guys, and now I could place it vertically, but I don't want to. I want it to be a little higher with a bit more spacing. I take all these elements, group them, and say, okay, with the whole slideshow, I want this to be centered now. This becomes my first slide. Guys, I chose a picture that I had selected before, and I placed my text based on those sizes and colors. Now, let's move on to the next slide. Guys, I have an About Us section. Okay, now let's copy this About Us section. Bring it here and place it here. Here I have two colors, a blue color and a yellow color that I have. I want the titles to be black, and I want some of the elements to have secondary colors. I want them to be orange, for example. I can write about the agency, or even give the secondary color to the SDM itself. Now I can use this yellow, and also, well, let's align the titles to the right. I want to place this as SD. What was the size of the social media? 44px. I placed these as the second. You see, I proceed with all of them using the same guideline that I defined. And I also define the padding as 25 pixels. This is the padding, right? I align these to the right together. Well, why did these come out of my type part? I will bring them in. I turn the column of the type part back on. These need to be separated from that side, so they go from the top of the container. Okay, so this is it, guys. In the About Us section, we want to select the image. We go to our own website and choose the About Us image that we have. Now, guys, the images we want to upload must be resized to the appropriate dimensions. We want to use the same image. I have an About Us image here, and I want to use this one. Okay, I'm dragging it. Now I bring it here. I replace the previous image with it. I can also place this image here and make it a bit smaller to align it. This is always the About Us section of this collection. Now I can even bring the image in the format I want, or I can even overlay it again. Guys, I copied a layer again and I put it on the image. I say my primary color should have a light blue overlay. If it looks nice, I'll do this, or I can even use black. I put it with our color, but I think it doesn't look good, so I remove it and leave it in its original color. Now, the next part, guys, is the Our Clients section. I now want to place the Our Clients section. I copy the title again and come here, guys. In this section, we also place the clients. Now, the icon we want to set for the client, actually, I've prepared it in advance. And this becomes the icon that I have in mind. I drag it to the place I want, and this becomes my clients section. Okay, now let's move on to our next phase or section, which is about our services. We want to introduce our services and say, hey, these are our services. I can completely copy this, bring it over here because I already have my structure, and place it here. Back then, guys, we had to put this in a different color because we didn't have a color. Now we will add our color. This is blue, and we can lighten it to the extent we want. We can even choose this orange and make it lighter, whichever you prefer. I prefer to use the light blue. Now in this section, guys, I need to fix my title again. I'll delete this. I will copy from here and go down. What does this become here? It becomes our services. This one, with this, I centered everything. Now I want to add a picture for each of these services, guys. Again, I want to use the picture of our own services. I come here, I have a series of services. For example, I want to choose this for the website design as well. For the website design, I can come here to this section, say put it on the image, and select this icon, either from the downloads folder or maybe even the desktop left. Let's find the icons. Let's see where it's saved. It's saved in that wireframe file, so I come here to the section where I placed it, find the wireframe file, and set this for my site. I say, sir, does this become part of my site? Oh, well, I still need to define a layer for it. I give this a little space to move it down so I can define the next layer. I place it, I put it on the image, move it to the blue theme, and lighten it. Then, I bring it one layer higher and say, sir, bring it forward. None. Now let's center it. Well, I want to set the size. What's the size? Yes, what's the size? Or I can set it to A3. All of you. H3 is 39 and H2 is 44. In my opinion, 32 or 39 can be good. I set this as the title. Or for example, I can say if I want this to be H3 or H4, I set it to 32 because H3 becomes too large. I also choose white for its color. For more information, I can now see that with the orange color it looks nice, which will look beautiful later. Well, we also need to delete these lower ones in exactly the same way. I need to delete the lower ones. Okay, this is the plan. Now I need to copy these and place them in the other elements. I will delete these again, and I will delete this one too. This service has gone out again, guys. I'll bring it back in. Now I need to turn on my guides or layout, take a copy of these three. Another thing I need to do is to delete the difference that I copied and say, sir, this and this are grouped together. And then bring it back up to its place and say, now. I want a copy of this, I'll bring it over here. Again, I want another copy of it, I'll bring it over here. Now I'll do this and say, now this is centered. Now let's move on to placing the icons, guys. I placed the next icon, which was the website design icon. What was next? It was SEO and digital marketing. I want to select this after SEO and save it. And I also want one for advertising, online advertising as well. This one is for online advertising. It downloads it. Okay. I also want to change this now. I click on this, choose it, and set it for online advertising. I close the initial one. Okay, this becomes my online advertising. I bring this one higher up. I say, the next online advertising is also for SEO, guys. I bring it, don't make a mistake. I select the elixir, choose it, and set this one for SEO. Its icon changes too. I bring this one up, and I write SEO here. This became the service section that I'm describing. About us, the customer still hasn't received its icon, but now it has. And this became my service section. Let's move on to the next part, which is my news magazine section. Okay, I copy this again. Drag it and place it. Here I also adjust the spacing, guys. For our news, I also need to add an image. I want to select a general image. It has to be one that I want. This photo that you have here, I can't drag it here because it's a link, so I download its image. I have a photo here, which is right here, and I want to save it as the blog image. Alright, let's start with the images. I don't want this one. So we place it here on the image, select it, and I also set it as the blog image. Now, let's move on to the title. This becomes the title, guys. Now it becomes 26, for example. Let's set it for H4. We also adjust the font size to 25, which is quite large. We can change some other fonts, and even the guidelines we defined, as the sizes might not fit what we need. Now, moving on, I can change the font color of the link, set it to blue, or I can set the orange to blue, and I can also change the title color to the same blue that I have. I think it turned out well. Now I will remove the rest that I don't need so that I can easily copy from this again. This will be the first one. I will copy each item one by one and place them. Here's the next one, and here's the next one. Let's align this. Make it a horizontal align so that it fits. The puzzle piece is correct. I'll deactivate this again. I've placed all the blog sections, and one section remains, the footer. I'll copy it again because in Tile we copy the same wireframes and bring them to where we need them. I'll place all the items. I need to copy this whole thing, which is what I'll do. At this point, it's okay. Well, I need to pull this up a bit. Let's move on to choosing the color, guys. For this footer, we had chosen a gray color. Now, let's set it to blue. I think it could be good. We can also test it on orange, but I don't think so. We can also set it to black, but I'm more okay with this blue. Fonts, these are the same sizes. We define them as well. It hasn't turned blue. We set these to blue. Here, we also define our font and our prototype to match our wireframe and the guidelines we have defined for our design.